There's more to life than what we think we know. I'm Micky, and I created this space so we can learn new perspectives by sharing our journeys. I believe communication and transparency is the key to growth. So if you're ready for raw conversations about real experiences and life lessons that we can all learn from, this is the podcast for you. Welcome to More by Micky. Hi, I'm Micky, and this is More by Micky. This is my podcast, and I'm here with Debbie Btesh. You'll go ahead and introduce yourself if you don't mind, and then I'm going to tell everyone how I met you.
Spotlight on me. My name is Debbie Btesh. I was born and raised in Colombia, Bogota, Colombia. Became an acupuncturist and Oriental Medicine Specialist in 2014, and then added sound healing and generational trauma healing work. That's what I do, and that is my passion. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter.
The important things.
I'm a sister, I'm a friend. Yeah, all of those things.
So it's funny because I came to meet you through divine timing from God, I'm just going to say. And I have been on a journey for a very long time of going to the gym, having a healthy lifestyle, and trying to build muscle. And I've struggled with it. And I was working out with my trainer, and it's been quite a while. And I just looked at her with tears in my eyes, and I'm like, why isn't anything working? And she said to me, Micky, I think there's something else going on here. We've tried supplements, we've tried lifting heavier, we've tried lymphatic drainage, we've tried everything, and nothing was working. And I felt really defeated when she said that. I felt like, great, nothing's ever going to work. And I went to visit a friend, and it just happened the same day. And I was sitting with my friend, and she's like, randomly I meant to call you a few days ago, and I forgot to call you. And another woman had told me about this woman who does acupuncture, and I think her number, I have it in my phone, I'm going to send it to you. I think that would be great for you. And I'm like, what? Okay, sure, I'll text her. She probably won't answer. And you actually answered the same day. And I didn't realize what I was dealing with when I came to see you. I think it was more I think I just have fluid, so you should just pump it out and stick some needles in me and fix it, because that's what we do in life. Until I really got into the nitty-gritty of what I was dealing with, which clearly it was more emotional. And obviously, there was other stuff, I needed my blood to flow more. I needed, to get stuff moving. Things were a little bit, stuck. But in fast forwarding till we are today, I've learned a lot about myself, but also about how everything really is balanced and how it plays a role much deeper than what we think. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read you a quote or a little saying or something that I found. And I just want you to share how it makes you feel, but also how you apply it to your life. And let's see how this resonates with you.
All right.
Okay. We all seek well-being. When we are well, then our lives feel in balance. There is energy for all our activities. There is time for everything, and our thoughts and our emotions are fluid and manageable. Life flows smoothly and gracefully. There is a balance between giving and taking, doing and resting, up and down, in and out, the yin and the yang.
That sounds like something I might have said.
Oh, is it? I don't know where I found that from. It is something you have said.
Yes. Sounds very familiar.
Very. I guess it wasn't such a hot seat after all.
Yes. My thoughts?
Yes.
Those are my thoughts.
They are.
But it's easy to feel out of sorts because I think we mostly spend our time feeling off kilter. And then we have moments of great alignment and things flow. And we're like, oh, wow, this is wonderful. It's like cruise control in the car where everything's easy. The road is simple. There's no, trucks in the way. And it just feels wonderful. And those are beautiful episodes in life, but they're episodes, right? Like most things come and go. There's an ebb and a flow. And then something comes up and then, you're cruising down that highway and all is well, and all of a sudden there's a truck, and all of a sudden there's like traffic, and all of a sudden things change. And it's about being able to manage the shifts and the changes and being able to, get out of the cruise control and take back control of your car and manage the changes fluidly. And sometimes when we have those episodes of ease, they really nourish us in a way that allows us to gather the tools we need, the strength we need, the beauty we need, the joy we need to navigate the bumpy stuff. But everything is constantly changing. So it's the expectation that we can spend all of our lives in this cruise control is an outrageous one, but it is what we think. So when we're not in cruise control, we're wondering what's wrong with us or with the world. And the reality is that it's an in and an out, and that's how it flows.
Right. It's like really a balance. And it's also, for me, how I transition from the cruise control to the bumps or having to slam on the brake or weave in and out of traffic. Mm-hmm. Because I think that's really the thing to life, is learning the balance of how to shift the gear and how to transition in between. And oftentimes we lose sight of that. We either think when things are going really well that somehow something's off and we don't get to appreciate it as much.
We're
and
waiting for the shoe to drop.
Exactly, waiting for the shoe to drop, and then we, in a way, self-sabotage it. Or when things are going well, we expect it always to go that way, and when normal life kicks in, let's just say what it is, we're thrown off, and we're almost knocked down so far that we don't even know how to get back up.
It can happen that way.
Yeah. It really does. And I find that learning how to balance and learning how to ride the wave, you like to tell me, even though I'm not a surfer and I really don't like the ocean and I stay far away from it, but I mean, I'll go look at it. I like to be near it, just not in it. It's interesting how learning these life lessons really apply to everything in life. It's not just the hard or the easy, it's the in-between as well.
Yep. And it's, when you came, it was about the fluid that you were so concerned about, and then we expand that out to really look at the bigger picture, right? Our bodies are wonderful measures. Our symptoms are indicative of something that needs attention in our lives. For example, somebody comes in with a pain in the shoulder, they didn't fall, they didn't this, they didn't that, and then, it's like, wow, what's going on with your life? What's going on with the speech? It's the throat chakra. What's going on with... And then the question broadens. It's not like, okay, like fix my shoulder, like needle my shoulder, fix my shoulder. It's expansive. It's like, oh, what's going on? What's happening? Let's look at the garden. And then when we do the gardening work and the symptom actually relieves, then we've gathered, we've planted something beautiful, we've watered it better, and then we have more resource. And of course, when we hit those like jolts, we can't forget that we have resources for a little while. Right. But then we find them again. We bounce back a little faster every time we go through the bumpy stuff. We follow, hopefully we fall less deeply and we bounce much quicker and we access our resources much better. It's part of life that we just get yucky.
Yeah.
And we feel yucky about life, about ourselves, about our bodies, about our relationships. Right. Things just happen and it's part of the growth.
Yeah. It's normal, actually.
That's the normal.
Yeah. And I think that there's not enough like emphasis on the fact that everyone goes through it. at
Correct.
some point, somehow, some way.
Every
And
day.
everyone's is different, but it is normal.
Yes. Expect change.
Yeah.
Because that is the one consistent thing in life. Everything changes all the time.
Right. Right.
You are not the same at whatever time it is now than you were at 6 o'clock this morning, because things have happened.
Why not?
in
I
the day.
think I woke up like this, no?
I certainly didn't.
I certainly didn't either. Sorry. I just didn't.
But even our thoughts and our thinking and our whatever's going on, we're not.
Our mood, our
Yeah, that
energy, right?
changes.
Yeah.
Things change. We shift through the
Are
day.
there like certain daily exercises or certain daily tools that one should keep focusing on or use almost to keep them more even keeled?
These things are such personal matters. We're all a little bit different. Some people need time in silence meditation. Some people need to be in walking or exercise meditation. Some people, how do you, the idea that what fills our well, of our internal well, is really what you're asking me. And I think that that's very personal. For some people, it's, like I said, walking, because walking is meditative.
Yeah,
Could be
mine
meditative.
is walking. The air, the
Some
breeze.
of us cannot be sitting in stillness in a room and think that that's quieting. That can be agitating for some people. So what are the things that you can do to resource internally? I've been taking this training about trauma, and the one consistent message is pleasure. What gives you pleasure? What gives you joy? Finding that, accessing joy, accessing things that give you pleasure, whether it's food or the air or a walk or a beautiful cup of coffee or a conversation with a friend, whatever it is that brings a book, whatever a person needs to find joy and pleasure, even if it's just a moment, that's what we need to cultivate. And the other aspect is being able to witness our own selves, being able to quiet our minds or quiet ourselves so that we're kind of internally internal. Like it's not, we are geared for the outside, our eyes look out into the world, but we need like internal.
Like being able to reflect in.
To turn in,
Right.
not just about
To
reflection,
absorb.
it's not like a reflection, but it can be
No,
just
but
an
to
observation.
right.
What am I feeling? What am I thinking? What's going on?
So be in tune with ourselves during
Yes.
those moments.
We need to kind of check in, not just outside, but like, okay, where are we?
Right.
Even
right.
if it's moments of this, and doesn't have to be once a day, but moments
Right.
to just check inside.
And the truth is, after a few days of doing that, it does become more natural.
Yep.
It's just as if, like,
Yeah.
I'll always have a water bottle. I'm always trying to drink my few liters of water a day and taking sips and drinking. It's also, it becomes, after a few days of it being awkward, it does become more natural and normal to just check in. Like,
Yeah.
I find myself not having
On
to remind
automatic.
myself to. Right.
We really are running on automatic 99% of the time. So if we can use that 1% of the time effectively to check in,
Right.
then it really kind of creates awareness. And then if things are off, then you can say, okay, what's going on? What do I really need right now? That would be a practice. It's important. We should be teaching it to children. We should be teaching it to the teenagers, because by the time you get to my age and you're trying to practice these things, you're far behind in trying to gather these things. But it's always possible.
Right. Right. It is. I find that you can start at any age.
That's for sure.
Because I'm so old.
Not at all. But it is definitely something you can gather at any time. But it would be lovely to teach this internal perception, internal moment early.
Well, it's interesting that you're saying that, because I find that society and the world as a whole teaches us one way of thinking, and it's almost everywhere you go. It's in your peer groups, it's in school, like everything is so rigid. And by the book, and it has to be this way, and it has to be this way. And we don't have enough of those types of lessons growing up as little kids. And we're not so free to be as artistic or musical. We almost have to sit at a desk and learn a certain way and do a certain thing and accomplish certain things by a certain age. And like society puts these expectations on us that mostly can be good, but only I think if balanced out with ways of looking within and saying, well, what do we need in order to succeed at those levels?
Each person is the expert on themselves.
Right. It's really
parents really think that we are the experts on our children, and we are not.
No, we're not.
We are the experts on ourselves, and we are wonderful guides for those we are responsible for while they're children. But everyone's born with their own internal knowing.
Yeah.
So it would really be about how do we cultivate our connection to our inner knowing, and how do we cultivate our strength in standing by our knowing, even when everything and
how
everyone
would you
is...
instill that in such a young age, as a mom to a young child, let's say?
Oh, that's a hard one. Coming in with a perspective that I'm not the expert. I don't want this. Oh, can this be negotiated?
Right.
Some things are negotiable. Some things are not negotiable. Maybe they're negotiable later. I recently had a patient that the doctors are telling her that if she wants to recover, she must go through surgery, and her inner knowing is saying no.
Wow.
I'm not willing to go through surgery. I'm very young, and what you're not guaranteeing me better outcomes. And her inner knowing is like no. So what does the medical community tell her? You're a difficult patient. You're non-compliant. We're going to fire you as patient. And she sits with me, and I'm like, yeah, if that's your knowing, then I'm going to trust your knowing, and I'm going to honor that, and I'm going to go with that, because you have the capacity to heal.
Right.
And we don't have to go in and think that your body is like auto mechanic pieces, and we can shift them pieces and put them in and cut these out and expect you to recover, because maybe you won't.
Right.
But I trust her knowing, and it was very interesting to notice how just giving her permission, so to speak, to honor, or more like honoring her no with her full no and saying fine, not just fine but fantastic, it just quieted her, and she's not on guard.
Wow.
And the potential for healing begins because she's not on guard. She's not trying to fight.
Right. You took
The
all
system,
of that defense.
She's not
Right.
pushing against something. So if you're not pushing against, that means that you can hold yourself stronger inside, and there's change that can happen. So how do you instill that in children? I think it really is it behooves us, the adults, to respect the no's and the yeses. We often make mistakes in terms of food. I don't want to eat this, and you have to eat this, but maybe it doesn't feel good for the child, and we're insisting. And so we create chaos.
Right.
Sometimes children are sensitive to foods, and it doesn't make them feel good, and we're insisting, you need to eat your broccoli. Well, maybe broccoli's not what my body likes.
Right.
Might be great, but it's not
so
what
hard.
my broccoli...
It's so hard as a parent, you just want your kid to be healthy and happy, and
Yeah,
you're
what does that
eat
mean?
broccoli and eat avocado, and the kid can't have it. So what do? It's like you didn't know any better.
You try something else. You
Right.
listen, but it's hard. It's
is
a
hard.
navigation.
You
It's a
never know.
navigation system, and we're learning about them. They're learning about us. But that's how I would really, really begin to teach for myself, to honor myself, and then to really honor someone else's yeses and nos
And their intuition.
and their knowing.
Right. Interesting.
And intuition is part of the inner knowing. These are all components. But this guide, we have an inner knowing, and it needs to be honored.
Yeah.
Because when it's not, that's when people get, things get bumpy, relationships get bumpy, health can be compromised.
Right.
We stop speaking because no one listens, and then we don't speak up.
And then we second question our own thoughts and our own.
And then it's yeah, can get complicated.
Yeah.
We also know that children are their most creative when they're younger, and we've done we systematize them in a way that we think they need to go this way, and then there's a lot that gets lost.
Yeah.
And so their creativity and their problem solving, their brilliance gets cut off because they're put into a system.
Right.
And so all of these skills are no longer usable or needed. So there's our muscles inside of them that don't get used. And
So
that's where
also a
creativity and
balance.
problem
Right.
solutions and all this ability to think of things differently gets lost because we want them this way.
We have to really let them balance it
I
out.
don't know, let them know, but it's like how do it? Yeah, it's a complicated dance, and we live in a very, we want children to be like this, and we want them to be like this younger, and if they don't, then we are labeling, and then we're shaming, and then we're medicalizing what may just be a time in their life where they just need to grow.
Right.
And then we medicalize, and then we medicate.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big problem.
And we have and then we create more problems.
I mean, I feel like there's a certain time and place for everything, but a lot of people just want the easy way out. So it's just instant, find a solution. Like I was saying, how we started off with, why am I not building muscle? Okay, there must be a supplement, more protein powder, more heavy lifting, like just find me a solution. And that was my mindset until I realized, obviously, there was no quick fix. There is no quick fix. And
There's
it's a process.
You fix the garden.
Yeah. Go back to the roots.
You fix the garden. You need a little bit more sun. You need a little more soil. You need to put more water into the dry parts, less water into the over wet parts.
Right.
You need to garden. It's
Yeah.
not a quick fix, and we live in a country of that people love quick fixes.
We really do.
There's not a lot of time for taking time.
Right.
Time to heal, time to think, time to play.
Right. Play and dance. That's what you say to me. That is your thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love my Zumba.
If you were to share just one piece of advice or lesson to the world, what would it be that you would want everyone to know?
Mm-hmm. Wow. I would think that my biggest message would be that our bodies are our unconscious mind manifesting. So that our symptoms, our manifestations of distress in our body, is the way that the subconscious mind is manifesting something for us. And it's important to listen and try to find the tools, people to help you understand whatever it is that you need to figure out what it is. And often it really is more about like sitting down and saying, okay, my knee, what's going on? What are you trying to tell me? What's the message? What's the message? What's the message? What's the message? So that we can come in, because there is a message here. Right. Of course, if you haven't fallen or had a major accident and then there's major injury, that's a different situation because it's coming from the outside in.
Right.
And then that can change many things. But otherwise, most symptoms are messages. It's the body manifesting information for us of where we need to shift. It's our guide.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be my message, because we were saying, we live in a world where I have a headache, let me pop an Advil. I have this, let me pop that. I have the other, I want to pop this one. Quick fix. I have an anxiety, so I'm going to take my my Xanax, and I have depression, I'm going to take a Prozac. There are no, that's not. Sometimes these are wonderful tools, part of the toolbox. But what is it that we need to look at so that we gain self-mastery and we gain knowledge and we can navigate? We started with navigations, we started about, cruise controls, then we need to be able to go back to cruise control, but it's really within us.
Right.
So I think that that would be my main message, because it's a message that I deliver on a regular basis to my patients. It's like, okay, what is this symptom trying to show us? What do we learn, and how do we open up more questions and take a look at the bigger picture? What's going on in the bigger picture? It's like funny, because it's like, oh, I came in like the shoulder, like, well, my elbow hurts, and I start talking about, oh, tell me about your mother, tell me about your father, what's going on with your husband or your partner or your children or your business, or because this matters. This matters. What's going on in the outside is going to affect our inside. And what's going on the inside spreads out into the outside. As inside, so outside. As outside, so inside. As above, so below. You know, we have these correspondences. That would be my main lesson that I would like to give to the world. Pay attention. The world, the body speaking to you.
Right. Well, I thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing these lessons and what you do and how much you've helped me with the world.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And thank you so much. And it's just been really special for me to have you on here. So thank you.
Good luck.